My family has a group chat I'm not in. It's 4 years old. It has a name. The name is The Real Ones. I found out because my aunt has fat thumbs. I'm still deciding whether that makes her my least favorite relative or, technically, the only honest one. Throwaway account, obviously, because half the people in that chat lurk this sub which, given what I now know they do for entertainment, is the least surprising sentence I'll type today. Some context. I'm 44, female, a project manager for a construction firm, divorced amicably a decade ago, no kids. In my family, I am what you'd call the designated adult. Every family has one. We're the ones with the folding tables in the garage, and the group gift spreadsheet and the pharmacy's number memorized for someone else's prescriptions. For as long as I can remember, the logistics of this family have run through me. I host Thanksgiving 16 to 20 people every year. My house, my turkey, my folding tables. I host Easter. I book my mother's appointments and drive her to the good cardiologist across town. When my cousin's car died 2 years ago, I loaned her $1,100 for the transmission. When my brother Danny's hours got cut, I floated him rent, twice. When Aunt Denise's water heater went, guess whose Venmo made that little cheerful whoosh sound? I want to be honest about something up front, because I've read enough of these posts to know you can smell it when OP sands off their own edges. I liked it. Not the money part, the being needed part. I'm good at logistics. It's my literal job. Running this family was the one project with no budget approvals and no client. And when my dad died 4 years ago, I grabbed the wheel with both hands because steering was easier than grieving. That's my flaw in this story. I handed them the wheel myself, and then acted surprised I was the one driving everybody everywhere. My dad. I need to tell you about him for later, so file this away. He died 4 years ago this month. He was the previous designated adult, the guy with the folding tables before me. Every October, I visit his grave with a coffee for me and a black coffee for him, and I sit on the little bench and give him the family status report. It's the only meeting on my calendar I never move. Okay, the text. 3 weeks ago, I opened our family group chat, the one I'm in, called FAM, which I now think of as the decoy chat to organize Thanksgiving. Standard kickoff message, very on-brand for me. Head count, dietary restrictions, who's bringing pie, versus who claims they're bringing pie. Aunt Denise replied within a minute. Lol. Not this chat. Delete. 40 seconds later, the message vanished. Unsent. Now, if you've never watched a message get deleted in real time, there's a particular quality to the silence afterward. The chat just resumed. My cousin posted a turkey gif. My mother asked if I was doing the good stuffing. Everyone typed around the hole like it wasn't there. But I'd seen it. And lol not, this chat is not a message you send by accident unless there is, somewhere, this chat. I did the mature thing first. I stared at the ceiling until 2 a.m. running scenarios, because that's my job too. Best case, it's a surprise party chat for my birthday. My birthday is in June. It was October. Weak theory. Worst case, I didn't let myself finish the worst case. The next morning, I called my cousin Sarah. Sarah is 39, a hospice nurse, the other quiet workhorse of this family, and the only relative who says, thank you like she means it. I told her about the deleted message and asked, flat out, if there was another chat. Sarah was silent for 4 full seconds. Then she said, I need to tell you something, and I need you to be sitting down, and I need you to know I've been trying to figure out how to do this for 6 months. There is a second chat. It's called The Real Ones. It contains my mother, my brother Danny, Aunt Denise, 2 other aunts, 4 cousins, and assorted spouses, everyone, essentially, except me and Sarah. Sarah only knows because 8 months ago, at a barbecue, my cousin Tyler showed her a funny screenshot from it, assuming she was already in it, and when he realized she wasn't, he laughed and said, oh right, you're basically a Melissa too. I'm Melissa. Being a Melissa is a category. Sarah, who sees actual death for a living and has no patience for slow-motion cruelty, did something after that barbecue that I will never be able to repay. She got herself added. She told Tyler she'd been missing the good content, laughed at 2 jokes she wanted to burn her phone after reading, and then sat in that chat for 6 months, quietly screenshotting, waiting and dreading the right moment to tell me. My aunt's fat thumbs made the decision for her. Last night, Sarah exported the entire chat history and sent it to me as a PDF. It is 212 pages long. It goes back 4 years it was created. I noticed on the first page, 11 days after my father's funeral, though I haven't been able to make myself think about that detail yet. It is sitting in my inbox right now. I have read exactly none of it. Sarah offered to summarize, and I said no. If there are 212 pages of what my family actually thinks of me, I'm going to read the primary source, because apparently the version of me they mock is thorough, and she wouldn't want a summary. I've made coffee. I've cleared my kitchen table like it's a war room. My husband used to say I read contracts the way other people read thrillers. Tonight I find out what genre my family is. I'll update when I've read it. If you never hear from me again, assume page 40 killed me. Update 1. I read all 212 pages in one sitting. Kitchen table, red pen habit. I annotate everything started at 7 p.m., finished at 3:40 a.m. A lot of you guessed they make fun of your hosting and they talk about money. You were right on both. Almost none of you guessed the structure of it. And the structure is the part I can't stop thinking about, because I'm a project manager, and what I read wasn't gossip. It was a workflow. Let me organize this the way I organized it that night, because it's the only way I can type it with steady hands. 3 categories. I literally wrote them on a legal pad at 1 a.m. The jokes. The game. The bank. The jokes. This is the layer I expected, and it still put a hole in me. 4 years of commentary on my hosting, control freak count. She has assigned the pies again. My divorce, no wonder. My body. My sad little spreadsheet energy. My mother participates. I want to be precise here, because precision is what I have instead of a therapist tonight. My mother doesn't usually write the joke. She writes underneath the joke, 71 times, across 4 years. Yes, I counted. Counting was easier than feeling it. The game. There is a running bit in that chat called PM, the PM. The rules, as best I can reconstruct. Someone messages me a fake or wildly exaggerated crisis, then screenshots my response for the group's entertainment because I mobilize every time. That's the whole joke. The joke is that I help too hard. Some entries in this genre, so you understand exactly what my family finds funny. 2 years ago, my cousin Tyler texted me at 11 p.m. that his flight home was canceled, and he was stranded in Charlotte with $40. I spent 90 minutes rebooking him through a friend who works for the airline, found him a hotel with a crew discount, and Venmo'd him $150 for food. In the real ones, in real time, he was posting my texts with commentary. She's making a spreadsheet of flight options. I can't breathe. He was not in Charlotte. He was at a bar 20 minutes from his apartment. The $150 became pictures. Last spring, Aunt Denise called me crying that her power was being shut off Friday. I paid the past due $310 that afternoon and then spent my lunch break building her a budget worksheet because I don't know how to give someone a fish. The chat's reaction to the worksheet is the single most laughed-at artifact in 212 pages. There are, I counted, 31 crying, laughing emojis under a photo of the budget I made to protect a woman from a shut-off notice that did not exist. And the one that actually got me, the one where I had to put the red pen down, 14 months ago, my brother Danny texted me that he might lose the apartment, and he was too ashamed to tell Mom. I canceled a long weekend trip to Santa Fe, non-refundable, first vacation in 3 years. You can find my sad little deposit in my sad little spreadsheet, and covered his rent. In the chat, that same night, Danny wrote, "Trip canceled, confirmed MVP season. She's so lonely, it's almost too easy." And my mother replied, this is verbatim, page 148. I will see it when I close my eyes for the rest of my life. Don't feel bad. It gives her something to do. Wait until after she visits your father's grave next week if you need more. She's softer that week. She's softer that week. My October grave visits. The one meeting I never move. My mother scheduled the family's cash flow requests around my grief like it was a promotional window, Black Friday. But the doorbuster is me. The bank. Which brings us to the ledger. Because there is one. My mother, who I have driven to cardiology appointments for 6 years, maintains, in that chat, a running informal tally, she calls, with what I can only assume she believes is affection, The bank of Big Sister. Who has asked me for what, when, how fast I paid, she Venmo'd in 10 minutes lull, and whose turn it is next, so that the asks stay staggered and no one trips the wire. There is genuine operational discipline in it. Someone will say they're thinking of asking me for money, and someone else will reply, not yet. Denise just hit her for the water heater. Give it 3 weeks. They ration me, like a resource. Because that's what I am in there, not a person who helps, a deposit that clears. I added it up. 4 years, never repaid loans and covered emergencies, not counting groceries, hosting, gifts, or gas. $23,140. Here's the part of this update where I'm supposed to tell you I called my mother screaming or forwarded the PDF to the whole family with the subject line, "Read Receipts," ironically. Half of Sarah's texts that week were her talking herself out of doing exactly that on my behalf. I didn't. I'm not going to. And I want to explain why. Because it's not weakness and it's not fear. It's the most project manager decision I've ever made in my life. If I confront them, I become the event. The story instantly becomes, Melissa, read our private chat, privacy, betrayal. Sarah gets burned as the leak, my mother cries. Denise reframes, and within a week I am somehow apologizing at a family healing dinner that I will also have catered. I've watched this family process conflict for 44 years. They're not good at much, but they are Olympic level at turning their own culpability into someone else's scene. So, no scene, no announcement, no PDF bomb. Instead, 3 weeks ago, the engine simply, shut off. Not dramatically, quietly, professionally. I began declining with 2-sentence pleasantness and no counteroffer, which if you've never tried, it is the most devastating communication format known to man. Tyler asked for $200 for a parking ticket situation 9 days ago. The chat, per Sarah's screenshots, had teed this up. Turn lol. I replied, can't help this time. Good luck. No excuse. No apology. No alternative plan, which is the part that must have felt like the ground moving, because I have never once in my life failed to provide an alternative plan. The real one's reaction, via Sarah, within the hour. Did Melissa just say, no? She's probably on her period. Try again Thursday. Denise said she seemed off. They ran a diagnostic on me. Thursday, Denise called about a car thing. I said, warmly, oh no, that's stressful. I'm sure you'll figure it out, you're resourceful. I could hear her recalibrating in the silence, like a GPS after a missed turn. And here's the thing I haven't told you yet. The thing this has all been building toward. Thanksgiving is in 19 days. I host Thanksgiving. I have hosted Thanksgiving for 11 years. The turkey order, the folding tables, the assignments spreadsheet, the good stuffing, all of it originates with a kickoff message that I send every year in the first week of November. I haven't sent it. I'm not going to send it. I'm not announcing that I'm not sending it. I have simply, for the first time in 11 years, done nothing, and I am watching, through Sarah's screenshots, the slow dawning in the real ones that no one has heard anything about Thanksgiving, paired with their total inability to just ask me, because asking me would require acknowledging that everything has always simply appeared. Sarah's latest screenshot, from last night, is my brother writing, someone should check what's going on with the turkey situation. The turkey situation, gentlemen, the turkey situation is that there is no turkey. I'll update after the holiday. I've been invited to Friendsgiving at my coworker Priya's place. I said yes, in under a minute, fastest Venmo of my life. $30 for the wine fund, happily. Update 2. I need to start with the 11 seconds, because everyone who's been following along deserves the 11 seconds. But first, the collapse in chronological order, reconstructed from Sarah's screenshots, which historians will one day study. Nov 1, 8T minus 10 days. The real ones officially notice. Has anyone gotten the spreadsheet? No one has gotten the spreadsheet. Theories develop. Leading theory, from Tyler. I'm doing a menopause thing. Second theory, from my mother, closer to the truth than she knew. She's been strange since October. Yes, Karen. Since October. Wonder what arrived in October. Nov 20. The chat decides someone should casually reach out. The word casually is discussed for 11 messages. This family planned my grief window withdrawals with military precision, but a casual text requires a subcommittee. Nov 21. Danny texts me, "Hey, what time Thanksgiving this year, lol?" Note the construction not "are you hosting," which admits a question exists, but what time, which presumes the machine is running, and merely requests the schedule. 4 years ago, I would have found this endearing. I replied, "Oh, I'm not hosting this year. Have a great one." The screenshot of his face would be worth $23,140 to me. The screenshot of the chat is almost as good. She's not hosting? What do you mean not hosting? Is she in the hospital? Because genuine incapacitation was, to them, more plausible than refusal. Nov 22. Panic operations begin. Who has tables? No one has tables. I have the tables. Who can cook a turkey? My mother announces she always did the real work anyway and will host. This lasts 19 hours, until she remembers her oven has been broken since August, a fact she knows I know, because I'm the one who scheduled the repairman she then canceled to avoid the service fee. Nov 24. The chat, invisible 5 stages, of grief order, arrives at bargaining and appoints its most senior diplomat to bring me back online, Aunt Denise, the woman whose thumbs started this. There's a poetry to it I choose to believe the universe intended. Nov 25, 6:40 p.m. Denise calls. I'm at my kitchen table, the war room, and Sarah happens to be sitting across from me with a glass of wine, because we've become actual friends through this, instead of just co-workhorses, which might be the only unambiguous gift my family has ever given me. I put the phone on speaker. I want to witness, and honestly, after 6 months undercover, Sarah has earned front row seats. Denise opens with weather. Then my health. You've seemed off, sweetheart. Then, at last, the ask, delivered in the syrup voice. So we're all just heartbroken about Thanksgiving. The family really needs this, honey. Everyone's asking. Nobody organizes like you do. What would it take to? And I said the sentence. The one I drafted, revised, and yes, rehearsed. Because I rehearse important deliverables. That's the whole joke about me, right? Oh, don't worry about the organizing, Denise. Ask the real ones. I hear they handle things. Silence. I have sat in construction meetings where a contractor realized mid-sentence that I'd read the change order he was hoping I hadn't. I know what caught silence sounds like in every acoustic. This one lasted 11 seconds. Sarah timed it on her phone. Hospice nurses are unflappable. 11 seconds of my aunt's brain running disaster recovery on 4 years of assumptions. What she finally said was a whisper. What did you see? Not what are you talking about. What did you see? Confession by syntax. My aunt fat-thumbed her way into the truth twice in one autumn. Enough, I said, pleasantly. Happy Thanksgiving, Denise. And hung up. The real ones detonated within the hour. I won't transcribe all of it. Sarah's phone was buzzing like a hornet's nest in a paint shaker, but the arc was panic. She knows. Inventory. Knows what exactly. How much is out there. Blame. Denise's deletion. Exhumed and litigated. And then, inevitably, the pivot I'd predicted in Update 1, the reason I never confronted. Reframing. By 10 p.m. My mother was drafting the official narrative. That I had spied on a private support space, that the chat was just how family blows off steam, and that I owed them the apology, and she would be coming by to talk sense into me. She came the next morning. And this is where I have to tell you about page 1. I mentioned in my original post that The Real Ones was created 11 days after my father's funeral, and that I hadn't let myself think about that. During the 212 pages, I'd read page 1 fast and filed it grief triage. You can't bleed from everything at once. But the night before my mother's visit, I finally sat with it. Page 1. The founding of the chat. First messages, 4 years ago. Author. Mom. My mother created The Real Ones. And the first thing she ever posted in it, the founding document of 4 years of the Bank of Big Sister, was this. Setting this up so we can coordinate without Melissa. Before anyone feels guilty about leaning on her, you should know your father's life insurance went to her, all of it. She didn't offer to share it with any of us. So no, nobody needs to feel bad. The family is just getting back what's fair. I read that at midnight, and I laughed. Actually laughed, alone, at my war room table, the kind of laugh that's got a crack straight down the middle of it. Because here is what actually happened to my father's life insurance. And I am one of 2 living people who knows, because Dad asked me to keep it private to protect my mother's pride. There was almost nothing left. My father, the previous designated adult, the man with the folding tables, had quietly borrowed against his policy for years to cover this family. Danny's DUI lawyer, Denise's bankruptcy, the loan for Tyler's semester that never saw a classroom. When he died, the insurance barely cleared his final medical bills, and the difference the deficit I paid, privately, $9,000 and change, so that my mother would never have to see an invoice with the word deceased on it. I have the statements. Of course, I have the statements. Sad little spreadsheet energy saves lives. My mother knew all of this. She was in the room when the estate closed. And 11 days later, she founded a group chat on the lie that I'd hoarded a windfall, a lie precision built, to convert the family's guilt into entitlement so that the extraction machine could run for 4 years with a clean conscience. The real ones wasn't gossip that curdled into a system. It was a system from message 1. My inheritance wasn't money. It was Dad's job. And my mother made sure the whole family believed I'd been paid for it. So, when she arrived the next morning with her talking sense face on, I didn't yell, and I didn't show her 212 pages. I handed her 1 page. Page 1. Her own founding message, printed, with a single red pen annotation in the margin, the same red pen, the same handwriting she's seen on 2 decades of her own appointment reminders. Next to the sentence about the life insurance, I'd written the actual number the estate cleared, the amount I quietly paid, and 1 line, "You knew. Dad's real policy was me. You spent it." My mother read it twice. I watched her reach for the reframe. I could see it loading. "You weren't supposed to see. It was just, you don't understand." And then she looked up, and whatever she found in my face made her put the reframe away. She left without coffee. First time in 44 years. Thanksgiving happened, technically. From what filtered through Sarah, who spent hers with me and Priya's Friendsgiving crew, where nobody assigned the pies, and somehow there were still pies, the family gathered at Denise's, around a store-bought turkey and 2 card tables, and it collapsed into recriminations by 6 p.m., not because of the food, because for the first time in 4 years, they were all in a room with no engine, no bank, and no Melissa to metabolize the friction into logistics, and the only thing left to process was each other. Final update soon. There's fallout, Danny, of all people, is the fallout, and one more thing waiting for me in October that I didn't see coming. Final update. It's been a little over 2 months. Here's where everything landed. The money. A lot of you wanted lawsuits. I get it, but $23,140 across 4 years of undocumented family loans is, per the 1 consultation I did, a very expensive way to purchase 4 more years of these people. I closed the bank a different way. I wrote it off. Officially, deliberately, in writing a single message to the decoy chat, my only public statement in this entire saga. For your information, all outstanding loans are forgiven. Consider every balance settled and every account closed. Happy holidays. 12 words did what no confrontation could. It told everyone I knew there were balances. It removed their leverage of owing me. People who owe you always come back. And the phrase, every account closed, told the founders of the Bank of Big Sister exactly which account I meant. Read receipts, all. Replies, none. Silence, as it turns out, is a language the whole family speaks fluently when it counts. Mom. We are in what she describes to relatives as a rough patch, and what I describe as structured, minimal contact. I still make sure she gets to cardiology. I book the medical transport service now, prepaid, because I meant it about her heart, and I also meant it about the bank. She has tried, 3 times, versions of the healing dinner gambit. I decline in 2 pleasant sentences, with no counteroffer. She hasn't apologized. I've accepted that the woman who wrote page 1 doesn't have the software for it, but in December she did something adjacent. She mailed me Dad's old wristwatch. No note, just bubble wrap. I know what it is. It's a payment in the only currency she has. The bank is closed, but I kept the watch. Denise sent a 4-paragraph apology that used the word misunderstanding 5 times and the word sorry once, in the phrase, sorry you found out that way. I responded with, thank you for writing. Project managers know, acknowledge receipt, accept nothing. Tyler Venmo'd me $150 out of nowhere with the caption Charlotte. I declined the payment. let it sit in his pending forever, a little monument. Danny, the fallout I didn't expect. My brother went quiet for 3 weeks after Thanksgiving, and then showed up at my door on a Sunday no text first, which for him is practically a formal ceremony holding, I swear, a folding table. He'd bought it. It was still in the box. He stood on my porch holding it like a passport and said, "I don't know how to start, so I bought a table. I figured you'd respect equipment." We talked for 3 hours. He didn't excuse anything. The Santa Fe rent thing came up and he cried. Actual crying, when I told him the trip had been for the anniversary of Dad's death, which he hadn't known, because the chat only ever knew what things cost me, never what they meant. He's in therapy now. He asks me for exactly nothing. Last month he drove Mom to cardiology himself and sent me a photo of the two of them in the waiting room, captioned "Engines Learning." It's the only message from this family I've screenshotted for good reasons. Sarah is fine. Better than fine. Nobody ever figured out she was the export. Denise's fat thumbs took the historical blame, which Sarah and I agreed, over wine, was the universe invoicing the right customer for once. She left the real ones in December with no announcement, just gone one morning like I'd taught her. No scene, no counteroffer. We host a monthly dinner now, her and me and Priya and 2 folding tables, mine and Danny's, and we call it, because we are who we are, the actual ones. And October. I said something was waiting for me that I didn't see coming. I visit Dad's grave every October, the meeting I never move, the week I'm softer. This year I went in January too, off schedule, because after everything, I owed him a status report. I sat on the bench with 2 coffees, and I finally told him the whole thing. The chat, page 1, the lie about his policy, the engine, the shutdown. And I told him the part I'd been carrying since page 148, that the family had strip-mined the exact grief I felt for him, that missing him had a conversion rate. And sitting there, I understood the thing I actually inherited, the thing I'd been too busy driving to see. My father didn't run this family because they deserved it. He ran it because he didn't know how to be loved any other way, and neither did I. The folding tables weren't service. They were a bid. 50 years, 2 designated adults, 1 lesson, arriving late but arriving. You cannot invoice people into loving you. The ones who love you show up on your porch holding a table of their own. So that's the record. My family kept a secret chat for 4 years, founded on my mother's lie about my dead father's money, ran a game called PM, the PM, rationed my grief like a coupon week, and I never yelled, never sent the PDF, never gave them a scene to survive. I just turned off the engine and let them meet each other without me. The family's verdict is split. Danny's in my kitchen once a week. Sarah's thriving. Mom sends watches instead of words. And the real ones, per its one remaining leak, has been renamed Family Planning, and mostly argues about who's hosting things now. Nobody is hosting things now. So, Reddit, I'll take your verdicts. Was staying silent the strong move, or did they deserve the 212-page PDF in everyone's inbox with the subject line, "Read Receipt IPS"? Would you have forgiven the $23,140 or gone to small claims out of principle? And the question I actually can't settle, the one I asked a headstone in January. If being needed is the only way your family ever loved you, is turning off the engine self-respect, or just a quieter way of leaving?